Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. I am Dhosea. With me is Gary and Zam, and we are here to break down The Last of Us, Season 1, Episode 9, the season finale of The Last of Us, aka the first game. Look for the light. And, boys, I'm going to go ahead and start this show off hot and say that this episode to me felt rushed. The pacing felt really, really fast, and that is probably the biggest criticism I can give this episode. But it was still a good episode for what it was. So, Gary, I'm going to start with you. What'd you think about it?
I thought it really adapted the last bit of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it did it really well. I was really invested in their relationship because it was kind of having like a father-daughter bonding moment between that. I'll try and summarize as best as I can. And then all of a sudden, it's into like the last bits of the game. I kind of agree with you a little bit, but I disagree in some bits. But I'm going to get into why later in a bit.
Right. Yeah, when we break it down, yeah. Okay, Sam, what'd you think?
I'm never, even though I thought things got tidied up pretty well, I'm never a fan of the finale episode being shorter than some of the earlier episodes. Like, you want, okay, this is it. This is the send off. Give us a nice big fat juicy episode at the end before you give us our last hurrahs.
So, do you reckon this should have been an hour?
Yeah, if they would have made it an hour, I think I would have. If they would have made it an hour, I wouldn't have that criticism of it felt kind of rushed, because that's the main criticism I'm seeing across the Last of Us episode, is that the pacing kind of felt a little all over the place at times.
How long was the first episode? I think that was
it was like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. I think this should have been in that area.
Yeah, if they would have made it an hour, I don't think I would have that criticism. But that doesn't mean it was still a bad episode. I really enjoyed it for what it was. But okay, if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and start breaking this thing down.
I think Sam had some more things to say. Sorry.
Oh, okay. If you do, go ahead.
Yeah, just regarding the timing of it, I was expecting it to be more than an hour. Once again, this episode copied similar formats from the game, which I'm happy to talk about during our play-by-play. Almost a little bit formulaic. Like, it's amazing how well the season started, and how certain things were like very by the numbers, so to speak, as we progressed, especially after episode 3. So yeah. But anyway, let's go with this play-by-play, and I'll bring up any of my gripes.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so much like how it started, we open on a time jump, and a very important one at that. The first thing we see is a pregnant woman running through the woods, and you guys that played the game, you know who it is. Ashley Johnson, the voice actress of Ellie. And I thought that was an awesome moment. I thought that her playing Ellie's mom. Yeah, Ashley Johnson she's got to be like, I think, yeah, I was going to say, she's got to be like 30.
She's 39.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 39, and I find that astonishing because, like, the first time I ever saw her as an adult was in Avengers Assemble, where she played the waitress serving Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and prior to that, I just remember her as a child actress.
Yeah,
because she played a kid in so many fucking things. She's been in so many things, and so to realize that she's 39.
Yeah,
where is the time gone? She's only a few years younger than me. And I feel like I've been watching her as an adult since she was a kid.
Yeah, because time goes by, man. Like, I'm almost 35, and I'm like, it's crazy how quick time goes. But okay, so Ashley Johnson is getting chased, or really, Anna. Yeah, Anna is in labor. Luckily, she makes it out of the woods into an abandoned house where she's hoping to meet the other survivors. However, they're not there yet, leaving her alone and in labor, having to deal with this especially persistent infected. Imagine giving birth while having to fight off an infected. This woman takes no shit, just like her daughter. Surprise, surprise. And the affected make it into the room. Anna's able to eventually kill them with her trusty switchblade. Seconds after the infected dies, Ellie is born, screaming her lungs out, of course. That's when Anna realizes right before Ellie's birth, she was bit. And finally, Ellie's immunity is explained. The cordyceps has already been in her since birth, so it recognized her as one of her own when she was bitten later on. That was a nice touch, I thought, and something that could have been added in the game. Mm-hmm.
For a start, the whole scene was fantastically done.
Yes.
Because there you are, about you're in labor and you're running away from a fucking zombie. But after she got bit, the only thing I kept thinking was Blade.
Mm-hmm.
It was because remember in Blade.
Yeah, that's what I thought of as well.
You know, the character Frost, he bit Blade's mother when she was pregnant with him, which is somehow if you're pregnant, if you're the baby, somehow something magical happens. You know, if a scenario like that happens.
I think it's because you're introduced to the infected agent at such a young age that you become it's part of your bloodstream, and therefore you developed a innate immunity to it. So, because there's certain people who actually have this in real life, actually, because it's actually not that far fetched. Because there are some people who have natural immunities to things because their mother had it while they were pregnant. Like, for example, there's some people who have immunities to the flu because their mother had it while they were pregnant. So therefore, it was in their bloodstream, and therefore their body developed a natural immunity to it.
You learn something new every day. All right. So, one moment in this flashback that brought tears to people's eyes is when Anna holds up a screaming Ellie, and she's like, yeah, you tell them. You fucking tell them. And then it's as if watching the OG Ellie kill and infected with a switchblade isn't cool enough. We also get this heartbreakingly beautiful scene. Yeah, because it is sad. And eventually, the people that Anna was hoping that would show up, they finally arrive. It's Marlene and more of the Fireflies. And when Marlene finds Anna and Ellie upstairs, Anna pleads with Marlene to take Ellie to Boston and find someone to raise her. Marlene is like, no, I'm not going to do that, but okay, fine, I fucking will, because she sees that she's bitten. Then Anna asks Marlene to do something very tough, kill her. And in the end, it's not that she wanted to do it, it's that she had to do it. And that was the most heartbreaking scene in the entire episode for me. It was very sad that it had to come to that.
Yeah, and I thought they did something really cool where they didn't show it. They kind of just have her go through and go,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's something you don't want to do, but it's something you have to do.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know, your friend's pleading for you. Like, honestly, you're doing your friend a favor.
Yeah.
You know, walking around like that is not living.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, turning into a cordyceps, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, turning into an infected, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but within less than 10 minutes of screen time, Ashley Johnson gives us one of the best scenes in The Last of Us with her uncanny ability to toggle between badass and a heartfelt person. She brings so much depth to a character that even those who have played the game have never met. Casting Johnson to play Ellie's mother is one of the best choices this show has made thus far. I agree.
Well, actually, Johnson will ever be Mike's Saber's little sister from Growing Pains to me. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched that.
Briefly.
Yeah. But the point is that you're gonna give Easter eggs. Just I'm not sure if you guys know, like, one that, and I'm jumping way ahead, but it's just an Easter egg regarding characters, quite insignificant. One of the nurses.
Yeah, I was going to get to that later. I was going to get to that later as a trivia fact.
Fine.
But
then once you get to it, we'll bring it
up. Know. Yeah. Then we'll talk about it.
But I mean, I love this cutaway where it cuts Ellie playing with that knife, and it's kind of like, does she actually remember that? Is there like some sort of like childhood sort of like memory of her? Because she was very, very young. She
was born beyond young, dude. She's not even like 10 minutes old.
No, she's not even old enough to retain anything yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we jump back to the present with a grown-up Ellie. Well, grown-up-ish, and she's still just 14, trying to process everything that she went through with David in the last episode. Meanwhile, she and Joel are now nearing the hospital in Utah, where the Fireflies may or may not be, and Ellie was kind of catatonic, kind of in and out of it. Like sometimes she would hear Joel, sometimes she wouldn't hear Joel. But all of a sudden she perks up when they finally get inside a bombed out building where Joel finally reaches through to Ellie. And this is the scene where in the game that they see the giraffe and they feed the giraffe like leaves and stuff. And Joel's like, is this everything you hope for? And she's like, yeah, this is everything, but you still cannot deny that view. And I thought they nailed that scene really wonderful in the game.
Yes, they did.
It reminds me of Jurassic Park. You guys seen Jurassic Park when the Brontosaurus comes along and they feed it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. And I love giraffes just generally because they're the most elegant animal, in my opinion, the most elegant animal in the world. They're beautiful. They have amazing posture and stuff. So when I see, no offense, Jose, like certain American people going to Africa to shoot them for sport.
Yeah,
killing animals for sport is sadistic. You kill animals to eat them. You don't kill animals for fun. You don't kill anything for fun.
No,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and to see it,
it was a very beautiful. So the giraffes in Bethany Fields. Bethany is the home of Lazarus, who Jesus raised from the dead.
Okay,
beautiful creatures, and it was CGI, wasn't it? Those giraffes.
Yeah. But when the giraffe walks away, Ellie once again tries. Okay, so basically, they feed the giraffe and all that, and it's an emotional scene that reminds us, Ellie and Joel, that there's beauty left in the world to fight for, even if there's so much darkness. When the giraffe walks away, Ellie once again tries to run after it to find out where it's going next. That's when she and Joel get to the roof and see a whole tower of giraffes walking through Salt Lake City. While watching the giraffes walk away without a care in the world, Joel tells Ellie that, we can stop this shit. We don't need to keep doing this. We can go back to Tommy's if we want to. And Ellie tells Joel, after all we've been through, everything I've done, it can't be for nothing. A direct line from the game, and a very important one that is going to play into season 2. And we will get into that toward the end of this episode. She doesn't want to give up. She wants her life to matter. She wants to be humanity's savior. Ellie tells Joel that there's no halfway with this, and the two continue their journey to the hospital. While walking through an abandoned old Army emergency camp, Joel finally tells Ellie how he really got the scar on his head after Sarah died. He didn't see the point in going on anymore. He tried to take his own life with his gun, but he didn't want to. But when he went to pull the trigger, he flinched. Ellie thinks Joel is telling her this story because time heals all wounds. But Joel looks at her with such love in his eyes, and he says, it wasn't time that did it. It's a phenomenal moment. A true showcase for just how talented Pascal and Ramsey are in their roles. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
First of all, I want to say that the moment we see them two walking together into Salt Lake City, you can see like Joel is really trying to play that, that silly dad role, with her. He's making stupid jokes. Like, she's still lost in her own thoughts. I'm sure almost being raped by a cannibalistic pedophile would have a massive effect on you. So I'm sure that sort of shit was still playing on her mind, and you can see Joel and Ellie have swapped roles now. Like, she's in her thoughts, and he's like making stupid jokes and acting all innocent, and he's also now able to talk about Sarah now. Before he couldn't even begin to mention her name, but now he's able to bring her up and talk about her, which was also a good sign that he's moving on.
I mean, because the thing is that this, because I think this solidifies the relationship. Is that because this is sort of like them connecting with nature, but also connecting with each other. Because there's kind of like a natural kind of. I mean, this was a phenomenal scene. I really like this because because I plus I love the next bit where he kind of like Ellie starts doing like stupid puns. And kind of like, why she doing stupid puns here? But kind of like, because she's kind of like. She's kind of like trying to like lighten the mood, kind of, because
based on the hype.
Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating.
The giraffe in Bethany Fields. Bethany Fields, even Bethany Field. Bethany is the home of Lazarus, who Jesus raised from the dead. Did you say something like that, Bossman, just now?
No, I read it off fancy stuff because like fancy's like the font of all knowledge.
Okay. So sadly, nothing but chaos lies ahead. The pair are ambushed by armed men who drag Ellie and Joel away after knocking them unconscious.
I liked how they did this scene because you're just watching them two. They're just walking along, not caring the world, and then you see them from behind.
It's the pun. Just when Joel finally, here's what kind of like pissed me off in a good way though. Just when Joel finally started to accept the puns, I was like, yes, he accepts them now. And then it was like, oh fuck. I wanted to hear some shitty ass.
I think it was either a flash grenade or it was a bomb.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a bomb. It was like a flashbang.
Yeah, it was a flashbang.
It's more there to disorient you than to hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so Joel and Ellie get knocked unconscious. Joel comes to. He's lying in a Firefly hospital bed with Marlene sitting right there next to him. Joel's like, you're going to take me to her right now. Marlene's like, yeah, you ain't going, as she's been prepped for surgery. It turns out that the doctor, this will play an important role in season 2, that thinks that the cordyceps and Ellie have grown with her since birth, and it produces a chemical messenger that makes normal cordyceps thinks that she's one of them. That's why she's immune. The doctor is going to remove the cordyceps that have grown within Ellie, multiply the cells to produce the chemical messengers that make her immune to create a vaccine. Sounds great in theory, but the catch is the cordyceps grow all over the brain. So that means in order to make the vaccine happen, Ellie will have to die. And true to the game, they nailed this scene just like they did in the video game, and shit starts to get really chaotic from this point going forward. What'd you guys think about this scene with Joel and Marlene?
I thought like the fact that he was like, where is she, like all this sort of stuff, or like, he was really panicked, and he was like, she was like, it's all right, we just protected to surgery, blah blah blah, and then like he was like really panicked, and he was like, good to save her, and he says like, take him to bridge, and if he decides to walk out, shoot him. I was like, oof. I mean, I didn't know how the scene was going to go, to be honest with you, because I thought. Because he was going to, his mom was going along the same lines of the game. It's like, all right, it's probably going to do the same thing as the game.
Yep. Zam, what'd you think?
I found it interesting that Marlene was there before he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wasn't she injured or shot or something?
Yeah, she got shot she got shot and like was bleeding out of her abdomen.
And so somehow she managed to heal herself.
Yeah.
Go all the way to the other side of the country, and she's there waiting for him. Typical video game style, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of those moments in this episode with the ladder and stuff like that, and giving a boost. Yeah, that was such a sort of like, okay, I'm gonna end up there before you guys do. God knows how long she's been there for, and she's healed from her wound as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I found that a bit interesting, but no remorse. Like Marlene is pretty much Abby's mum.
Yeah,
she brought her up since birth, with best friend and stuff like that. And there's nothing there. There's nothing about the scenario that makes her want to not make Abby go through this particular ordeal. I almost find that hard to believe.
No, but I think it's because it's for the great good. Because like she's seen what like Federer is. She's seen like what the world is based upon, the cordyceps being so. What's the word? So
I know that's the reason, boss man. I know that's the reason. I just find it. I just I can understand someone like Joel being the person who would happily give her up to save humanity, but it just feels a bit weird that it happens to be Marlene, who is like officially the surrogate mother. I mean, she's known her since she was born. They've grown up with each other. They've built a rapport with each other. All of these things. So I'm just finding that I'm just like Joel said, "Fuck the world. I want Ellie to stay."
Yeah,
I'm surprised Marlene couldn't think that way.
And that's and that's what I'm about to get into, because this information does not sit well with Joel. He refuses to lose another daughter, which is what Ellie basically has become to him. At first, Joel looks like he's going to go quietly, but then he overpowers one of the Fireflies, gets him to reveal the location where Ellie is in the operating room. Joel proceeds to go Wild Wild West style and kill everybody that he comes across.
Before that, like you notice that when he was being escorted, he's like reading like areas of the hospital.
Yeah.
On the walls, like what floors are what, where's the operation theaters are and stuff like that, to get some sort of idea, of where he needs to go, which was very clever.
Yep.
And even those elements played out like the game.
Yeah, I like how they did the firefight scene where he was just going through like killing everybody, engaging in combat. I thought that was perfect because they nailed it just like the video game. Because the video game plays out the exact same way, where to get through to where Ellie is, you have to go through a firefight, and they nailed that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I also like the choice of gun. Like he was choosing, he likes his bolt actions, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You got rapid fire guns there, but he's going for the bolt actions all the bloody time. So that was finding a bit weird. I also like the fact that he would change guns and all of that because like a video game, you run out of ammunition, you got to pick up another weapon.
Yep.
All of that. Yeah, those are the elements I like very much. But the fact he was able to kill off the entire Firefly division.
Yeah, he took out the entire squad. He took everybody out.
He's a military man. I know he's a military man.
Yeah.
America has lots of military men. Let's be honest. He can't be the only fucking one.
And you would think there would have been somebody that would have at least shot him once. At least he would have got shot one time, just as a side effect or something. But that didn't even happen.
You saw like how mad he was, because one thing I like about The Last of Us is that it doesn't necessarily portray Joel as a good guy. He's a guy who knows what he wants.
Yeah.
And he would do whatever he has to do to get what he wants. And if that means killing people who are theoretically, you don't need to kill. I'm not saying he's like killing people he has to kill. He's killing people he doesn't need to kill.
Yeah, he's doing what he got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, he's killing them. Like there's people giving up and putting their guns down
and I'm gonna go ahead and piss people off now. People got to know when we get to season 2, people need to remember the line I'm gonna say. Joel is an asshole. That's all I'm going to say. So just remember that shit. For those of you that are dissatisfied with season 2 or what's going to happen, just remember Joel's an asshole.
That was portrayed at the very beginning of this season.
Yep.
They didn't bother saving other people. They just cared about themselves, about their contingent. And so it's all about that. Joel only gives Joel is not a hero. He only cares about what's his.
Yeah.
That's all he cares about.
Okay, so now we're going to get to Zam's part of the episode. Joel finally makes his way to the doctor room, and we all pop for this because those of us that have played the video game know who one of the nurses is. Laura motherfucking Bailey made it into the show, and I popped for that. I'm like, yes, they got Laura Bailey, one of the greatest voice actors of all time, and she's just so fantastic. And Joel brutalizes the doctor. The doctor will play an important role in season 2. We will be talking about that as we get to the end of this. But what do you guys think about Joel killing the doctor and saving Ellie and all that shit? I really like this scene too.
I'm surprised he didn't, like the way he was going. I'm surprised did he kill those nurses? Because it looks like he didn't.
I don't think he did. I know he killed the doctor.
Personally, I think he needs to stick to form.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter whether they're gunmen or medical staff. If you're going to kill everyone, Joel,
take everybody out. Yep.
Yeah, because the last thing you need, is somebody relaying this information to somebody else who can get back to you, because you killing majority of the Fireflies puts a target on your back.
Yep.
No witnesses. Kill them all. You know what I mean? So, yeah, even the poor nurses had to go, in my opinion, as far as Joel. So yeah, that was my only issue with that. It was cool that we had that cameo.
Yeah,
but yeah, he should, and she's wearing a bloody mask, so some people would never have fucking known.
Yep.
But yeah, he should have killed them.
Yeah. I agree. He should have taken him out. Okay, so just as Joel's about to get ready to escape, Marlene finds him to try to stop him from leaving. Joel tells Marlene that it's not. He tells Marlene that Ellie's fate isn't for her to decide, while Marlene is like, this is what Ellie would have wanted, motherfucker. She would have wanted to die for the cure, and you know it. But Joel's like, fuck that. I made up my mind. Blow, Marlene goes down, wounding her, and brings Ellie to a car, lays her down. And then he comes back and just savagely kills Marlene after Marlene tries to plead, like, no, please, let her go. And then he's like, you just come after her. Bang. And then later on, Ellie awakes in the car, that Joel steals from the Fireflies. She has no idea what happened. Joel lies to her. Again, Joel's an asshole. And when she asks, he tells her that they found the Fireflies, but it turns out there's a lot more people like you that are immune. The doctors couldn't find a way to make anyone's immunity into a vaccine, he says. And the Fireflies have stopped looking for a cure. Bullshit. Joel says that raiders attacked the hospital and that he barely got her out of there alive.
He's the raider.
Yep. Yeah. The raiders came in and killed them all. Bullshit. Ellie asks if Marlene is okay. Joel ignores her. His only response is that he's taking him home to Jackson, where Tommy lives. As they approach Jackson, go ahead.
This whole time, like, Ellie knows something is off.
Mm-hmm. You know, she knew.
Yeah, she knows something is not right here.
Mm-hmm.
And she has an affiliation with the Fireflies. I mean, she was with them for most of her life, so.
Yep. But okay, they finally approach Jackson. Ellie finally opens up to Joel about having to kill Riley and how she got bit and all this other shit, like how Riley was the first to die. Joel tells Ellie that Riley, Teth's, Sam's death are not her fault because she's suffering through survivor guilt. Some things don't work out the way we hope, and you have to keep finding something to fight for. His response inquires Ellie to ask Joel to swear that everything he said was true about the Fireflies and what happened in the hospital is true. Joel swears, and after a few seconds, Ellie says, okay. And this is where we end. And the ending is going to divide people. People are going to be on Joel's side. People are not going to be on Joel's side. I personally see Joel as an asshole. And when season 2 happens, I know people are going to disagree with me, but Joel got what was coming to him. I know that pisses people off, but I said what I said. That's my thoughts on the end of this episode. Joel's going to get what he has coming to him.
I just look at it as Joel doesn't give a shit if people say promise me or swear on my life.
Yep.
Hey, you can say those things. It's just words. It's not going to create some magical enchantment.
It takes one thing to say it, but it takes another thing to show it. That's how I look at it.
Well, the thing is
but in this particular case, if Joel does die, then it does play a part. That he did swear and he did lie.
Yep.
And so it cost him his life. Sorry.
Yep.
I was just going to say, the thing is that, like, he trusted somebody initially with his daughter, and he lost her because he trusted that person because he thought that they were there to help, but they didn't go away. And and the thing is that I'm hoping and praying that they don't do game 2.
Exactly like the game. Yeah, here's what I want, because for those of us that have played the game, now we're going to get into it. I want the Joel and Ellie flashbacks to take over the first half of season 2, if you ask me. I want at least the first maybe 2 episodes to be dedicated to Joel and Ellie. Then if you want to go the route of the game, I'm kind of like, I'm not crazy about it, but you do what you do. At least give Joel and Ellie the first 2 episodes of A Time of Peace. They go hunting. She sees the dinosaur. All that kind of shit happens. They go to the museum. That can be the first couple episodes of season 2. Then if you want to kill Joel off in episode 3 or 4, by all means, do what you do. At least that's what I want to see happen.
I'm a little bit mixed on all of this. I mean, like, sometimes you follow the game. We said this last week. You follow the game to such a degree that it's lost any element of originality.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, even though you're following the game to such a degree, you're not following it that much, even which it sounds like I'm contradicting myself. But what I want, just maybe a little bit more, and I haven't made this complaint until now because the season's over. It's just a few more zombies, a few more hordes and stuff like that. Like, I felt this show was lacking in that, but in the games, it has plenty of that. It really does. It's got plenty of that.
Yep.
And we got more human moments, with evil bad guys than we did get with zombies. And I think that's an issue in my opinion. I think next season
I disagree.
I think I would like a few more, Bossman. I would like a few more incidences with zombies. Just a few more.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for every episode to be wall-to-wall zombies, but it would be nice just to have a little bit more. But this being the final episode, and the only zombie moment we got was the flashback.
Yeah,
you know I mean?
I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more infected. Like I would have liked to have seen like Joel and Ellie take out infected along the way, like you did in the game. That would have been a cool scene, but you couldn't do the scene where how Joel gets knocked unconscious. So I could kind of see that, but I would have liked to have seen like a firefight with Joel and Ellie take down infected, then the flashbang thing happens, and then Joel gets knocked unconscious. That's how I would have changed the pacing of that scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Getting into Salt Lake City.
Yeah, okay, getting into Salt Lake City. That's
okay.
what I would have changed.
Okay, because I mean, I did say that I was going to talk about the pacing. The thing is that pacing has been an issue throughout the season. I don't think it's suffered from it here, and I'll explain what I mean in a minute. Because the thing is that I thought it had the perfect juxtaposition between the start of Ellie being born with her story of being infected, as Sam was saying before, having basically the blade excuse of why she's immune, to her playing with the knife and kind of having that kind of bond with her mother, even if it's on a superficial level. I thought that was a perfect start. And then I thought it did the perfect thing of having that sort of father-daughter relationship there, and that there's some vulnerability coming out of Joel now, because we've always seen that vulnerability once before was when he was with Tommy and he was going, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But then when he's seen it on with Ellie, where he's been so stoic and so driven beforehand, we're now seeing his full vulnerability. So I thought the pacing was great in that, because we're actually seeing his vulnerability, we're seeing that his care, we see his love almost for her,
right?
And that's the reason why I think that now I will agree with you. I think that the hospital scene was rushed.
Yeah, they rushed that.
That's why if I a person was going to do it, I would have got the hour and I would have put much more time into the hospital scene. But that's great.
Well, it's 45 minutes long. Put a fucking zombie action scene and make it an hour.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. Like, I would have taken the 15 minutes to say, like, okay, we got to cut through this to get to the hospital. And that's where you have Joel and Ellie fight through, like, infected. Then, just as they're about to get ready to make their way there, flashbang, boom, they're both knocked unconscious. Then you resume the shit, and then you have, like, the hospital scene. You stretch that out a little bit. Then you could fill an hour by doing it that way. That way, it's not so rushed. At least
exactly. You can still have those dad jokes and those communicating moments, and then boom, there with every quieter moment and character development moment, you then follow it with a bit of high adrenaline moment, so to speak. And we never got that. I really was desperate. I was desperate for just a decent zombie scene. Now they're in Salt Lake City and open fields. Oh, guys, stop making so much noise. Open fields and stuff like that. Like it warranted one. It really did.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm going to disagree with you two slightly here, because I think it was important for there to be a quiet moment between the two, because like the two have been like through what we all the episodes we've seen, non-stop shit. To be through, as you said last week, they went through bloody pedophile criminals, and then they had two of these episodes in flaming Kansas City and with Mel Felicitty's character. Then before that, they had the whole thing of trying to actually get. Then they lost Joel lost basically his lover. I mean, like, they've been through hell and high water. It was just
but a lot of the incidents they've had is against other human beings. It would, this is a zombie show after all, and I think apart from it started off really well with the first 2 episodes and episode 5, and out of 9 episodes, only 3 episodes of real zombie action. I think it warrants a bit more.
Yeah,
a little bit,
just a little bit more. Yeah,
maybe another episode or 2, just to balance it out, because I think the balance wasn't there. You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons why we watched it, so we could see a bloater and a clicker, and we did get that. But even then, when you think about it, did we get much of a bloater? Not really.
Yeah, there's that feeling of just wanting just a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, but I think, but I'm going to say something now that you're probably too not going to agree with. I think that I think if they did that, it would make it feel less special.
How?
Because the thing is that we remember the blow. We remember the blow, like we remember like combing up and stuff like that. We remember like because they gave that scene weight when it actually happened. Whereas if they did more of it, it might have like neutralized the blow. But I do agree with you. They could have had one or two more scenes of zombie stuff.
I would have started. Look, after the flashback, I would have started episode 9 with Joel and Ellie running away from infected as they're getting into Salt Lake City, having to take a few out here and there, what I mean, and just a bit of a by the numbers sort of scene. But granted, we got it. Then they do something very video gamey where they close a particular door or they move a bookshelf, whatever, and they're safe now. And
yep.
I mean, and then they can walk along. It would have ticked so many boxes, but I really felt I was going to get some zombies in this episode, and the fact that all we got was a flashback moment, I felt very unfulfilled in my zombie quota.
You didn't get what you wanted. Yeah, so and that's a valid criticism.
And I put that, and I put this for the entire series. So. And I was wondering, okay, fine, we didn't get any zombies this episode. That's great. I'm sure we're going to get it at the end. Oh, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Season 2, I would amp up the infected a little bit, but that's just me. That's what I'd like to see going into season 2 because it is called The Last of Us. That's what I want. I want the first couple episodes to be times a piece. You take out a few infected here and there because it happens in the video game. But then, episode 3 onward, that's when shit's going to get real in this bitch. And that's when the infected need to double up. That's my opinion anyway. But let's go ahead and get into final ratings because we've been going on for... Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong. I did praise this show for not flooding us with zombies all the time anyway to make it feel warranted. But after episode 5, and then you got episode 6, 7, 8, and 9, like, come on, we deserved another plateful of zombie action off. I mean, it would have been warranted, and then you would have spread it out nicely. I think if we had 4 seriously zombie episodes out of the 9 episodes, it would have worked well. But 3 episodes out of 9 is not good enough.
Yeah. So, if you would have done an extra episode, yeah. But overall, let's go ahead and get into our final ratings. I'm going to go ahead and go first and give this episode an 8. It was really, really good. I mostly got what I wanted. 45 minutes. I wish it would have been an hour, but for them to wrap up the first season, aka the first game, I think 8 pretty much warrants it. Joel finally accepts Ellie as family, so to speak. They're going back to Jackson. Things will be peaceful, at least hopefully, for the first couple episodes. I was disappointed in the fact that we didn't get a lot of zombies, like you said. But overall, I feel in terms of wrapping up the character, storyline development, it was really, really good for what it was. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8. Zam?
I was actually going to give it an 8, but I'm now knocking my thing down to 7, simply because I convinced myself that lack of zombie action, in this episode, when it being the finale, should have had a bit more. I never liked the final episode being short. Then considerably short, like 10 minutes shorter than, or sometimes depending what the episode may be, up to 20 to 30 minutes shorter than some of the other episodes. This is the finale. Give us as much as possible before we say goodbye. And we didn't get that in this episode. It felt rushed, and Joel became Superman. Like killing everyone off so easily. It felt a little bit empty this episode. Like what happened between episode 8 and this episode? We had a time jump without a doubt, but it wasn't explained. He didn't even tell us how many months later it was, did it? 1 minute it's snowing, now it's fucking not. And so I'm disappointed with this episode, but at the same time I've enjoyed the ride. This was still a fun episode to a degree. I'm actually going to go down to 6 now. Yeah, I'm sorry, 6. It's going to be a 6 for me. Not the best ending in my opinion. It was all right. It was enjoyable, but with what we've spoken about, it should have had a lot more. 6 out of 10.
Okay, Bossman?
I'm going to go a lot higher than both of you. I'm going to go 9. I thought this was a great episode. It gave us some great character moments. I thought it allowed us to connect with the characters. It gave them, a moment of silence, to give them moments of peace before we wrapped up the action. I thought it portrayed like the frustration and anger that Joel felt. I thought at the end it showed that Joel has this rampant mind that, because it's something that they talked about at the first episode where he said, who I hang around with and we don't want him to know, because we've not actually seen that side of Joel yet, and we've got to see it here, fully unleashed on these people, you got that adrenaline rush, almost like I'm going to compare him now to one of my favourite characters in fiction. Logan Nine Fingers. He reminded me a lot of Logan Nine Fingers, where this sort of rage and pain took over, and he just basically went pow, 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 pow. It's like, oh my god, that's what they were talking about in the first episode, where this is the guy that they were afraid of, because he was just killing people, and the fact is he could have shown mercy to Marlene, but he went nope, bang, and it was just like. To me, it was a tremendous aid to a tremendous series, but I understand your two's criticism, and I understand where it's coming from.
Yep. Any expectations for season 2 before we wrap up?
If it falls again,
before I say anything, sorry, let me just quickly read Block's comment.
Yeah.
Said The Last of Us is a great show. It builds off the game. However, it can stand alone from the game. I agree.
I agree.
I like it when they do certain things. But this is the other extreme now. They pretty much, why watch The Last of Us? Just play the fucking game. It's a play by play of pretty much everything. Only a couple of moments here or there were different from the game, and that actually improves things, like fucking Frank and Bill.
Yeah.
But this is how you adapt video games into shows or movies.
It's the greatest video game adaptation I've ever seen for anything that's ever been done.
And personally, I think if you're going to do video game adaptations, then the series route is the better route.
Yeah, don't do movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
You need to spread out. You need to give things padding.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that in the film. What I want in season 2, I want more zombies.
Yeah.
I want apparently the bloaters, they're like the bloaters, they were human beings who were quite big, muscular men.
Yep.
No, bloaters are there I think it's 10 years for infection. So basically,
but not everyone. Yeah, but Bossman, not everyone's capable of lasting that long. So but you notice some of them just lay down and die, and they become part of a wall or something.
Yep.
But you're like a stronger human being. You're more likely to be a bloater. You might likely to last a distance, but muscular people and bodybuilders and stuff like that, they're not everywhere in the world. So that's why you get them quite scarcely, which is a very good explanation for a bloater. But I would like to see a few more bloaters. I would like to see more variations of zombies and stuff like that. The cordyceps sort of communication thing they had in episode 2, where if you touch the ground and you touch where the cordyceps are on the ground, that they communicate. We only got that once.
One time. Yeah, one time.
Give
us at least one more fucking time to remind us of that cool moment that they can fucking communicate from fucking walking on leaves and shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Give it if you're going to introduce these particular concepts, then give it to us more than once.
And here's what I want, even though we did get this, I want more brutality with how these motherfucking infected just rip motherfuckers apart. That's what I want. I want to see more brutality happen when these infected start killing people, because we got that, but I just didn't get enough of it. That's probably my big criticism. I like how the fucking bloater ripped that guy's head off. That was cool. I want to see more of that type of shit happen.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm going from memory, but there were some other types of infected that are brought in the second game. So I'm hoping
there will be a couple there. Yeah, there will be a couple variations of infected. So you're going to get to see at least 2 new fucking infected in the second season.
Yeah, so I mean, I do agree with what you say a little bit, but the thing is that I'm going to say something now.
Just say it.
Just say it, boss man. Just say you go with this little monologue. I'm going to say something. You're going to just no, just fucking say it, mate, without saying that monologue.
I don't want to go down the fucking Walking Dead thing where you get zombies every fucking week. It cheapens them.
Are we not saying that, boss man?
No, I'm saying it for me. I'm saying it for me personally.
Yeah, because I actually initially up to episode 5, I liked what they were doing. They were giving us drips and drabs, but now we're just getting drips. We're not even getting drabs.
I mean, do you know what? I'm actually on your side here. Actually, I think you're right that they could have had more of them, but still had the parts they had without them. Is that what you're saying? If I'm interpreting,
I'm just saying, like we could have had at least one more major scene. As I said, I would have started episode 9 with Joel and Ellie running away from the infected, getting into Salt Lake City, and then maybe once they figure out a way of maybe stopping the infected coming after them by pushing a bookcase or closing a door or going in a tunnel or something along those lines. And always still have to be on their toes because they are out in the open. That's what it needs to be. I mean, they're walking around Salt Lake City chatting shit, not worried about anything.
Here's going to be my pitch to you, well, to both of you, right? In episode 9, right, they come out of the forest and they have to go through a school, and in the school there's a massive gym, and then all of a sudden a bloater comes through, and they have to deal with it because that happens in the game. That's a direct thing from the game, but also how the fuck they're going to deal with that? Because it's not like you've seen him do what he does in the game and collects all the stuff to be able to deal with that. Like
personally, I would have liked to have a scene with a bloater where they have to take it out.
Yeah, because that never happened.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that never. That needs to happen in season 2. You got to see the death of a bloater. That has to happen.
Yeah, you got to see them how they kill it and stuff like that. I would even have like to have a moment where they went pure stealth. And the whole episode, like not whole episode, but a whole part of them, like seeing a whole bunch of zombies, like clickers and bloaters who are blind, and just going past them without making a fucking noise, and not with like maybe somebody knocking over a candlestick onto the floor or stepping on something scrunchy. No, just don't do that. That's cliched. They get past them without making a fucking noise. That would have been so tense, such a nice moment. You know what I mean? Because you can do that in the game. You can go stealth and not kill it, not have to kill a single zombie.
You can. It's hard, but yeah, you can do it. You could do a pacifist run.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you can't. There is one zombie you will have to kill. In that scene where it's like they get past like the final time you fight that swarm of infected and Ellie goes through that trap door, there is that one infected. So you will have to kill at least one.
Yeah, fair enough. But there are like moments when you walk through certain corridors and stuff, as long as you don't make any noise, you can get past them and whole sections. So the fact that they never added that element to this episode or any episodes,
Okay. I'm just trying to think what I'd like for season 2. It's right. You go first, Jose. I think. Sorry.
For season 2, yeah, like I said, I want more infected. I want to see how they kill the bloater. I don't want Joel dying in the first episode. I don't want him dying till episode 3 at the very least, or maybe even episode 4. I don't want Joel dying right away. I want Ellie and Joel to have their moments of peace. I want the scene where Tommy and Joel teach Ellie how to kill infected with a rifle, because that does happen in the game. I just don't want Joel to die right away. That's all I'm asking for. That's my main thing.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't want Joel to die at all in season 2.
Yeah, switch it up. Maybe make it to where Joel doesn't die. Yeah. Maybe make it to where Tommy dies this time around, just to do something a little different. Or Maria dies this time around. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to see. Actually, I agree with both of you. Actually, both of you seeking, the more you've changed my mind a little bit. I think I agree with you that I'd like to see more zombie fights and then fight a bloater. I definitely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just to see how they would tackle something like that. I'd also love them to maybe do more with Abby's character. So, like if we are going to go the Abby route, maybe we can give her character more time, more more of a storyline, more of a build, so that if that is going to happen, that it's further down the line and we're invested in that character. That's my personal take of it.
I was thinking maybe we could have two storylines, a subplot of Abby, like we could still follow Joel and Ellie, and subplot on Abby, and maybe by the end of season 2, they meet up, or whatever. I mean, so some people say, personally, I think depending on how many seasons they do with the show, I don't think Joel has to die until the very final episode of whatever season they decide to
kill
him, the finale with.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I feel now, after doing so much by the game, I think it warrants now that they can still keep the essence of this show, but without having to follow the game to a fucking T. And we're talking about what I want more is those moments like where you give Ellie a boost and she pulls down the ladder. That's a game moment. You know what I mean? Yep. Not necessarily fucking every bit of dialogue be the same as the game, but some of these sort of
key moments.
The key moments in gameplay. Yeah, not necessarily game dialogue, but in gameplay, like when Joel was using the sniper rifle to take out the horde in episode 5. Those gameplay moments, that's what I want to see.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
also, I probably would have more of Tommy in it, because I think he was only in that one.
He was only in a few episodes. He wasn't really in it that much. Tommy had.
He was only in 2 episodes, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's only in a couple episodes of that.
So I would have given him more of the character stuff to do.
And I'd like to, and like I said, I'd like to see Tommy or Maria die this time around instead of Joel. Do a plot twist. Don't exactly follow the game. Keep Joel around. Have Tommy be the one that dies this time around. And have Joel and Ellie go their separate ways because of the fact that he lied to her. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, actually, I'm with you on that one. Because the thing is, then he's going to have to deal with the fact that he's lost a daughter twice.
Yeah. And Ellie's greatest fear is she ends up alone. And that's what I want to see is like Joel and Ellie just get so fucking far apart that it's like in the final sequence of the second game, it flashes back to like when Joel's just picking away at his 6 string. And, he's like, is Dina your girlfriend? And she's like, yeah, and he's like, I hope that someday you can forgive me. And then she'll be like, yeah, maybe someday I will. And that's how I think it should end, at least the second season, or if they're going to end the series that way. But we don't know. That's at least how I think it should end.
I mean, you've got Pedro Pascal. You don't want to just waste him.
Yeah, you don't.
He's the hottest singing Hollywood at the moment. You don't waste Pedro Pascal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened is that the end of the end of the season happened, and then all of a sudden they're about to reconnect, and as a day, Abby kills him. That could be one thing.
Yeah, they could do that too. They could do a plot twist where like they stretch the shit out, and then Abby kills him. It doesn't end in a happy way for anybody. That's how it needs to end, I think, overall for Last of Us, is that no one gets a happy ending. That's what I'd like to see anyway.
Right. We're still going to see Ellie have a relationship with what's her face?
Dina.
I mean,
is it Dina or
Dina?
Dina. Okay.
Dina. Yeah.
I mean, that could pan out similar to the games, or they can make it go a different route, So it all depends on. I mean, it's funny the way we want them to follow certain elements from the games. At the same time, we want them to go their own direction. It's a tough act to follow. But as I said before, I want more elements that are gameplay than game story. That's what I want. More gameplay, not less game story. So let's hope they go down that route. I can't hear you, Jose. I think. Nope. Oh, you're back now. You're back.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's time to plug what you got, because I'm ready to get up out of here. So let's do this. Anybody got anything they want to plug?
Tomorrow, I'll be doing a recording of the latest episode of Quantum Leap. As I'm on my own now, my usual cohort is no longer with me, no longer with us. Not saying that there's anything happened to him. It's just that we parted ways now. So I'll be doing Quantum Leap tomorrow on my own, and then hopefully Bossman, you'll be joining us for Mandalorian on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays we'll be doing Star Trek Picard, and at some point this week by the weekend, maybe we will get a Last of Us season review out as well. So, yeah.
Okay. My school is having the SWA, which is uses my school, is having a wrestling event on the 17th in Motherwell. Please go if you can.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah, Bossman's our regular Ray trailer, to be more precise. He's an actual wrestler.
Oh, trying to be a wrestler.
One day, yeah, he's training to be a wrestler, but he's more of a wrestler than I am. And hopefully one day, we'll see him at WrestleMania.
Yep. All right, kids. Well,
lining it.
Yep. I am DLC 101. With me is Gary and Samario and his birds. We will see you guys this weekend for The Last of Us episode, season 1 retrospective. Thank you all very much. Like and subscribe. Share it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your mama. Tell your daddy. Tell your aunts, uncles, cousins. You know the drill, brothers and sisters. You know what to do. Like and subscribe. And we are out. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.